It's a little early for that, isn't it?
The train's late.
What's that got to do with it?
I'm getting true drunk right now. I'm just gonna say.
Yes.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris.
I'm William.
And this is Cinema Blind Spots. Welcome to our first episode.
We've seen a lot of movies. I'm sure you've seen a lot of movies too, but somehow, some way, for everyone, there's some movies that's fallen through the cracks. Some movies that you just, for one reason or another, you know they're good, or you know that people are talking about them, but for some reason or another, you haven't seen them. And that is what this channel tries to rectify. Show each other, show you those blind spots.
Yeah. What he said. This is a movie I have not seen, and this passed me by. I don't know anything about Russ Meyer. I didn't know anything about it. Will's been telling me for years that I have to see this movie.
So I'm a huge fan of Russ Meyer. He did a lot of sexploitation films, but they weren't quite porn, even though they did have a lot of sex, but they always seemed to have a little bit of humor to them. The women were cartoon figures. They were very busty. They had very thin waists, but very hippie. The men in his films, they're very cartoony.
What a hunk of stuff.
Hey, he's a big one, ain't he? Got muscles all the way to his ears. They call him the vegetable.
They're not to be taken seriously, and most of these films are not to be taken seriously. They're kind of to be enjoyed with a grain of salt, with some fun, with a tongue-in-cheek feeling to them.
Yeah. That's what I got.
So today's film that we are bringing to you is Russ Meyer's cult classic, Faster Pussycat, Kill Kill.
So this is a movie that I've never seen before. You've seen it
Several times.
several times for a long time. And you've been telling me for a while, you've got to see this movie.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that it's silly, it's fun, it's the definition of a cult movie. No one's ever gonna take this film seriously in any way.
I got it all warmed up for you.
Soak it up. I'm gonna love squeezing you out.
And it's not trying to in any shape or form. I mean, the lines are fun, they're very 60s, they're jazzy, there's a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of wordplay. It's so much fun to just watch. You know, you watch it because you think it's going to be one of those so bad it's good movies.
That's it, boy. We got her now. Go on, boy. Get her. Get her good.
But in fact, it's actually a good movie.
The plot, I was surprised that the plot actually kind of kept me engaged for the most part, because I wasn't expecting too much. All I really knew from Russ Meyer stuff was that it was, big boobs, probably some violence.
It's one of those movies that it seems trashy, it seems like it's going to be a so bad it's good type of movie. But in fact, it's a lot of fun. And it's not a lot of fun because you're making fun of it. It's hip, it's breezy, there's not a lot of plot to it, it's great.
You know, Tiny Tim, when I've had enough of this stuff, it's been known to be passing out time.
Yeah. It's fun.
And it's just about passing out time.
I thought it was fine. I liked it okay. I don't know. I'm glad that you recommended me to watch it, but at the same time, I'm cool. I'm good with it.
One of the reasons it's become such a cult classic, that it's endured, despite the fact that other Russ Meyer films, which may or may not be better, have seemed to fall by the wayside in terms of pop culture, is I think its controversy about its placement in history. Feminist film critic B. Ruby Rich called this a work of misogyny. She said it was softcore porn when she first saw it. 20 years later, she began to reevaluate this film. And I think that's what's happened a lot too with cinema and films that might have been considered exploitive but are now considered revolutionary. This is a film where it centers on women. Women are the focus, women have all the power. All the men in this movie are completely inept. Mm-hmm. They're stupid, they're decrepit, they're goofy. Kirk is the only one with any kind of character.
You saved my life, so stop crying, huh?
But he has no depth. He's just a good guy. The women of this film, they're strong, they're independent, they don't need men, they use men for their own gains, and I don't think the film looks at them in a bad light in any way.
No, but it's definitely through the male gaze, I would say.
Well, that's definitely Russ Meyer's, yes. Faster Pussycat Kill Kill is one of those movies where you just return to it periodically. It's kind of one of those movies where you enjoyed it, you love it, you find someone who hasn't watched it, and you loves showing it to them.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's not going to be like a great movie of cinema that you return to all the time, every time you want to watch something.
Probably not.
I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I think it's silly, I think it's dumb, I think it's really well made. I think it has a lot of tremendous performances in it.
They let them vote, smoke, and drive, even put them in pants. So what do you get? A Democrat for president.
It's great when you watch these type of movies and you can see what such a limited budget can still give you if you just have good writing, good performers, sexy women.
Here, Rosie, baby. Pop the top before you blow your own. Don't you get enough of that at the joint?
Russ Meyer kind of subverted what people were expecting of him. Like anyone else would have done just a titillating movie of sex and deviance.
He made like a competent film with a competent story. He did everything, right? He did like all the editing of it too. He was in the army, military photographer, very strict.
Yes, he was very strict.
Which is funny because it seems like this would be like the type of movies he made. It'd be like real loosey-goosey and like, you know, whatever.
It's weird because, you know, we hear all these movies about like Roger Corman starting in the 60s, and he built so many filmmakers out of his kind of DIY type of sets, you know, Peter Bogdanovich, Scorsese, Jack Nicholson, Dennis Hopper, all of them came out of Roger Corman's film school. But Russ Meyer was kind of running the same thing, but in a schlockier kind of way.
Yeah, and he was doing it all himself.
Yeah, there's a big argument to be made on auteurism that you could apply to Russ Meyer. The same way you apply it to a Scorsese or a Wes Anderson, you could apply that to Russ Meyer.
This was a treat. I don't know if I would see it again, but I did enjoy it.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Appreciate you recommending it to me. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.